Yeah, it's true. When we first came to this church, I had left a position as a pastor at another church, and we, I was just really between jobs uh, in a lot of ways, and we struggled for 2 years. Uh, I just I couldn't find another position that was adequate for us, and and we were crying out to God and asking God for help. And I found that God was faithful. I always had some kind of employment, but it was never enough. And as a man, it's really hard to go out and work hard and know that you're not going to make enough to cover your bills, and you're not going to make enough to provide for all of the children. But God was with us every step of the way, and just like Pastor Ted said, we did not give up. We did accumulate a bunch of debt, but there were several people in this church that stepped out and helped us during that time, and our parents helped us during that time. And then God has just been speaking to us and working on us, and teaching us about finances and more. We've kind of come to a more fuller understanding of God's grace and the gospel over the last couple of years, that we are the children of God, that we have all the resources of heaven behind us, and that we need to reach out in faith and appropriate those resources. So part of our struggle was just us not fully understanding, all the access we had to the kingdom of heaven. And so God started to work on us in that. And the first thing that really answered our prayer was Vanessa found a job. And that was amazing. And then I found a job as a hospice chaplain. And then I found 3 different hospice agencies to work for. And now I found full employment again. So for the last 2 years, yes, praise God. We've learned that the enemy attacks you in your finances, right? That having zero money in your bank account is a spiritual problem. And so we have been praying against the enemy and against attacks of finances. And we have been saying recently that we are the children of God, and that God is a generous God, and he's going to provide us what we need so that we can be generous to others. And in the last 2 years, we have been able to cover our bills and pay down a lot of our debt, and God is just being so faithful to us. And it is awesome. Yeah. And we've been faithful with the tithe the whole time, and our tithe was so small before, then there was 2 years. And it's so exciting now that when we write the tithe check, we're like, wow, the church can really actually do something with that amount of money. And so it's just amazing the way God, it took a long time. And so I just want to encourage you guys that God is faithful, that he will be with you every step of the way, and just give it a little time, but really trust in who you are as a child of God, and that the promises of God are true, and that God does want to lift you up and prosper you so that you can be a blessing to others. That is his plan. And so we're excited to be living in that plan.